All right. Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another stream. 8 o'clock on a Monday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Just looking around, looking at what's going on. Early morning, looks like we got some upside on Tesla, Nvidia, and then the energy names. That's my first read here. A few tech names are higher. Energy's higher. And then you got some stuff that's down as well. So pretty mixed bag right now. Pretty mixed bag as we open here. So we'll go through all that, obviously. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Let's pull up some of the stuff we need to look at here. Pull up the Google Docs for everyone. Yeah, it was beautiful out this morning in Florida. I have the door open. It's nice and cold. Feels good. Haven't felt that in quite some time. Let me make sure to so if you guys are a member of the channel, make sure to put your tickers in if you want to look at anything at the end of the stream. I'm about to update that on the members tab. So if you guys are, make sure to check that out. Yeah, sad news about the plane in China. That's my biggest fear. I'm not a big flyer. I always get nervous when I fly. I don't know why. Just something, I don't know, just instilled in me. I can't shake it. As much as I fly very often, and I travel as much as I can, but every time I get in a plane, I'm just always like just a little on edge. I don't know why. Some people just go on as if nothing's there, which, I mean, I get it, right? I mean, at that point you just can't really control anything once that plane takes off. But yeah, it scares me, man. It really does. So unfortunate, and rest in peace. It looks like, unfortunately, everyone on that plane, I think everyone on the plane died. So that's scary stuff. But yeah, you got that Boeing China news this morning. Looks to be controlling. Yeah, I think it is. It comes down to that control factor, right? When I'm driving in a car, I feel a little bit more in control, even though if you look at the statistics, driving in a car is actually much more dangerous than driving on planes. But I guess since you're the one driving, you feel more in control. But yeah, all right. So some stuff to definitely look at today, guys. Some strong names, some weak names, some overall market stuff to definitely look at. If you guys watched my video yesterday, you'll get a very unbiased opinion on what this market's doing. I know a lot of people did not like my video yesterday, but it is what it is. You know, you gotta stay opportunistic. You gotta stay logical here. You can't trade off your own bias. That's what a lot of people like to do. They like to trade off their own bias because they think the market should continue lower. However, the market last week made a lot of moves as to why it looks pretty strong in the short term. So we'll see what happens today. Do we give it all back this week? That's absolutely a possibility, right? Monday morning, we know nothing about what's going to happen this week, and this is a big week to see whether we hold this move that we saw last week, or are we gonna start seeing the whole entire thing just start to unravel again? So that's what we're going to answer this week. We'll do our best to try to see, the warning signs, and we'll look through the technicals to try to read into what we should be watching, and that's all we can do, right? We can't predict the future here, but we can prepare ourselves correctly. So here we go. First of all, futures. That's what we'll look at. We look at it every time we're here. So if you guys are, usually coming to the live stream, you know that we're looking at futures every single morning. Economic and earnings calendar. Not much. Let's go ahead and pull that up though, because we have another week of earnings here. Earnings is coming to a close, and that's also why I continue to do discounts on my merch, because we're after this earnings is over, we're going to be making new designs. So if you guys want merch, you guys can see that code on the right side of your screen. Make sure to check that out if you have interest. Here is the earnings calendar. So we have some interesting ones this week. Nike, that's pretty interesting. We'll watch that today. Carnival, so that's a CCL, that's big for the cruise lines. Adobe, that's another one to sort of be watching here. What else? Winnebago's still a publicly traded company. That's crazy. I didn't even know that. What else we got? Tencent, Chinese name. Trip.com. Nothing crazy, guys. Most of the big stuff's over. Darden, Restaurant Grand. They own like Olive Garden, Yard House, a bunch of other ones. I can't think of them right now. What else? Neo. And that's really it. Nothing crazy this week. So I wouldn't, I'm not too focused on the earnings anymore as we start to sort of go lower and lower here into importance. The importance level is slowly decreasing here. But still some earnings to watch out for. There you go. Take a screenshot if you'd like. Next, we got economic calendar. And we definitely have a lot of speaking this week, which is something to be aware of, right? So Atlanta Fed president talking here at 8 o'clock. He's talking right now. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks at NABE conference. So that's 12 o'clock. That should be, we'll see what they talk. I'm not sure what is on the docket for him to talk about, but I would assume it's more of, just about their decision, their Fed funds rate decision. Let me read a little bit about what it's National Association for Bilingual Education. That's what NABE stands for. So, the last time we had a conference that was really unrelated to the overall market, you still had Jerome talking about his decisions for the Fed. So I'm not sure exactly. If anyone has any more interest, let me know. Let me know if you guys know exactly what on the docket here. I'll have to read a little bit more into that. But just be aware that he is going to be opening his mouth at 12 o'clock. And whenever Jerome Powell opens his mouth, it definitely can cause volatility. So let's be aware of that. Tuesday, tomorrow, we have more Fed presidents. So we have a lot of Fed talking this week, which could cause a little bit of volatility. Wednesday, Jerome Powell speaks on digital challenges. They spelt challenges wrong here. Look at this. 3 L's. Challenges with 3 L's. Excel. So I tried to do as many Excels, but I have to be, I have to really keep it limited because first of all, my audience isn't huge, guys. I'm not like the Nelk boys over here, right? So I'm not selling, hundreds of thousands of shirts. So I got to keep my sizes. I try to do a few Excels. Brandon. New home sales, more Fed president. Jobless claims, normal Thursday. More Fed presidents. And then 5-year inflation expectations. So just a lot of Fed presidents talking this week, guys. So that's something we're going to have to at least keep an eye out for. All these Fed presidents probably going to be talking about whether they agree with what the Fed did. They're going to be putting in their own 2 cents about everything. So, that is something let's just keep an eye on all that talking this week. Something to keep in the back of your mind to make sure you know that, there might be some volatility. Make sure to keep this calendar up. All right, so that's that. Tesla, strong pre-market this morning. Tesla is up to $9.18 this morning, so about $12 a share in the pre-market. I think it's just sort of continuing the momentum that we saw last week. Looks like you've been looking for digital tire gauges. Oh, yeah, you saw that? Actually, you're right. I have been looking for... I got new wheels on my other car. That's funny you say that. Is that what the ad was? That is what it was, right? Where'd it go? Yeah, I saw what you saw. I was looking first. I got new wheels and tires. So... Tesla strong pre-market. Nvidia daily chart looks fantastic. That is something that I'm in right now. It's up in the pre-market again, so we'll see if that can continue today. AMD showing some signs of upside. Something I want to monitor. It's not as strong as Nvidia. on the daily, and that's why I don't like it as much, but it's something that we should monitor. Energy and oil moving higher this morning. XLE slash CL both moving higher this morning. So let's make sure we don't forget about oil, right? Oil seems to be, this is how it sort of goes, right? This is how the market works. You get a big, everyone's focused on one thing, and then it starts to, go away, and then it starts to come right back. So let's not forget about the energy sector. Let's not forget about slash CL, right? It's still above 100. Oil's still high. Energy's still pretty strong. Let's not forget about that. That could be another reason we get a little bit of weakness on the market if oil starts rocketing again. So let's watch that. BABA, pretty nasty 110 rejection. This was the exact level we were looking for BABA to push into before finding resistance. I think the China Boeing news is affecting the Chinese markets. I think that is, I'm not sure that's the full correlation, but I think that is definitely affecting some of these Chinese stocks this morning. That news in China looks to be getting hurt just a little bit. So let's keep an eye on BABA, 110 rejection. Facebook and Square, both pretty nice breakouts on the daily charts after being a falling knife for 3 months without any signs of support or buying. You're finally seeing a little bit of it in Facebook and Square. Now, I'm going to be very careful extending my buying into some of these more questionable names. More questionable for me is Facebook. More questionable for me is Square, PayPal, Roku, Upstart. Right, those are my questionable names. I'd be a little bit more confident in looking at stocks like Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft. Right, I think those are going to be the ones that find the most strength in the short term. If we do get more upside, I think the buying will slowly creep into some of the other names, but it's something at least we want to keep an eye out for, right? Facebook and Square are definitely looking like they're pretty strong right now in the very short term. And finally, we'll look at Boeing and Boeing China news. So that's what I have, guys, for the schedule today. After we look at my schedule, we will go over some of the stuff that you guys put in the live stream Google Docs. If you are a member of the channel, feel free to go ahead and check that out. All right, let's do it. Profit taking's coming. Yeah, it might. It definitely might, Jay, for sure. I mean, I would not doubt it. You definitely want to keep an eye on it, though. It looked really good. Ozzy, what is it, sir? Okay. All right, let's get started. NASDAQ, daily chart. So, what did we get last week? Well, what we got last week, guys, was on Thursday, and this was pretty clear. I mean, we talked about it in the live stream. We talked about it in my Thursday video. We got an open and close above the 20 SMA, right? And that was a sign for me, right? That was a sign right here. Open and close above the 20. Sign for me that there could be some more upside. So that was the first time we opened and closed above the 20 since right around January 4th. So in about 2 to 3 months since the beginning of this year, we have not opened and closed above the 20. So in the short term, on Thursday, I said there might be some more upside because of that type of momentum shift, that type of change in price action. And it definitely showed itself on Friday. Now, we are rejecting the 50, which is a little bit concerning, right? That's a little bit concerning. I'm going to pop up a few things here. First, we're going to show up the RSI because we are having bullish divergence. And then I'm going to show you the 200 SMA here because that's the death cross that everyone's talking about, the 50 under the 200. So we'll look at both of those. So here's the RSI, and this is bullish. What the hell is that? Never heard that notification. Oh, someone purchased a shirt. Saturino. Thank you so much. Thanks for supporting the merch drop. So as you guys can see on your charts here, the bottom is RSI. I want to make that a little bit more clear for you. I'm sure you guys have heard this in my live streams, but I figure if you haven't, or in my videos, but if you have not, I figure I'd go over it just really quickly. Last week, we got bullish divergence, right? Lower lows on the market, higher lows on the RSI. That's bullish divergence, and that is possibly why we saw a little bit of buying pressure here. Now, the next thing that happened about couple weeks ago, was we got a death cross, which is when the 50 SMA on the daily chart crosses below the 200. That happened right here, right at this intersection. You guys can see yellow line crosses below 200. So that is a death cross. That's when a short-term moving average is very weak compared to the longer-term moving average. Now, in a market that, if you read about this, and typically what happens in this market when the 50 is below the 200 is you will get bounces back to the 50 and rejections, or you'll get bounces back to the 200 and then rejections, right? That's typically what happens in this type of market. So I am very cautious as the NASDAQ is trading right at the 50 today. To me, does it look like we could pull back? Could we definitely see some pullback off the 50? Absolutely. And I would not be opposed to that because that is healthy. So does the 50 push the, is the 50 where we start to reject today? That is definitely something I'm going to be very careful of here. We're sitting right at the 50 SMA on the daily, which is right around 14,400, and it definitely could be an area where the NASDAQ pulls back a little bit. Now, if it does pull back, where do we want to see this market hold? We need to see it hold at 13.8. All right, that is exactly where we need to see this market hold, 13.8. Right here, guys, 13.8. This is my normal watch list, guys. This is my watch list every day. So it's not like a watch list for today. If we get a pullback on the NASDAQ, we want to see 13.8 hold, right? That is a must hold, in my opinion, for any type of momentum to continue. This was previous resistance, previous resistance, previous resistance. We want to see a little break and retest happen on this market. That is exactly what we'd want to see if we want to try to find a little bit more momentum in the short term. So even if we pull back today, and the market is down, let's say the market drops like 3% over the next week. Let's say we drop 3% this week, right? What do you think people's reactions are going to be? People that are so short-term minded that don't really look at technicals, and they just see a 3% drop in the market, right? Everyone's going to turn really bearish if we pull back 3% here. However, I would be looking to see if we pull back and hold this 13.8. Because if we pull back 3% and people start slamming shorts and we start to hold up at this retest level, this could be a very nice opportunity. So I am definitely going to be very focused on 13.8 this week, and I'm not going to be blinded by the fact that there could be a pullback, because there absolutely should be. I think we should all prepare ourselves for some type of pullback. Now, you don't want to see this pullback, right? You don't want to see that pullback. You don't want to see us back at 13,000. You want to try to make some type of, higher lows, higher highs this week. So that's what I'm watching. 13.8 would be the deepest pullback I'd want to see on this market. If you look shorter term, yeah, you can look at 14K. Maybe you want to see it hold 14. Maybe you want to see it hold 14,150. There's a lot of levels, 14.3. In the short term, there's some shorter term levels that if we are very bullish, then of course you'd want to see hold. So let's say, for example, 14.3 right there, pull back maybe to 14,120, maybe to 14,000 even, right? There's a lot of areas to watch for pullbacks here. The strongest one being 14.3. If we pull back to 14.3, or if we hold 14.3 this morning, I mean, that's very bullish, right? If you don't get under this, then that would be very, very bullish in the short term. So watch 14.3. That's definitely a big level. You can see we're holding here pre-market. That's a very bullish case, right? If we hold 14.3, that's a very bullish case, because that is not even a pullback. I mean, that's like 50 points. So 14.3, that's extremely bullish. If you start to see support here this morning and we start to push off of it, I would be looking for more momentum. If we start to break down today, we can absolutely break down to this 14,000 area and down to the 13.8, right? You never want to ignore the fact that this move on Friday was really fast to the upside. And, really fast upside days are nice when they're happening, and they're definitely, days to make money. when this happens, right? This is a beautiful trading day because it was just easy mode on a lot of names. So congratulations if you guys caught any of this. However, in the larger, in the larger scale of things, and when you're actually looking at the strength of the market, there is a very good chance that, big days like that end up getting given up because, is the buying there very strong? Maybe, maybe not. So let's just be aware, guys. Let's not go crazy here. I would not be surprised to see this market trade back to 14 if we find a little weakness this week. In the very bullish case, we hold 14.3. In the extremely bullish case, which people just don't like to hear because they're always so negative. But if we hold 14.3, then I would be looking for this 14.6 area. Why is that? Because 14.6 is the previous lows here, and it is also the previous rejection points up here. Let me show you that. So right around here, guys. 14.6 would be the ultimate bull case. You have previous support right around here. If I can get the circle to work, there it is, 14.6, 14.6, and 14.6. And not really. It wasn't very low volume on Friday. I mean, it was normal. But yeah, I mean, it was low, it was low compared, but about the same, for the overall market. I guess the reason I say that is because some stocks had big volume on Friday. For example, look at Nvidia's volume on Friday. Volume on Friday was the most of the week on Nvidia. So yeah, you're right. I mean, relatively low volume on NASDAQ. But some stocks had some pretty strong moves. So ultimate bull case, delusional bull case, degenerate bull case, you get a push into 13.6. This is previous support into resistance. That's where I'd be looking. In the most conservative, unbiased way, I'd say look for 14.3 to hold, and then 14,000 and 13.8. If you break under 13.8, guys, you're coming right back down, right? This is just another pump fake if you break 13.8. All right. That's the NASDAQ. I hope that gives you some insight into what I'm watching. Here on the ES, similar thing, guys, right? We got that death cross on the ES. Yeah, definitely low volume on the ES. Definitely true, Justin. Look at that. So on the ES, you got the death cross right here around the 14th of March. And when that happens, right, typically you can find rejections at the 50 or the 200. Now, we're right now on the ES, guys, on the S&P 500, we are holding right there at the 200 SMA, right? Right there, 200 SMA rejections. That would be something that I would watch out for. Right there, you can see the rejection that is creeping in right now on the ES, 200 SMA. So, could we move lower? 20 reasons to go down, 0 reasons to pump. Hey guys, you can't discount the fact, you got everything. A lot of people discount the fact that the market is still the market and people are still out there to get deals. There's a good reason as to why there could be some buying here. Doesn't mean that it's a long-term, back to the upside, all-time highs next week type of move. But there is definitely people that are still going to buy down at these levels, right? I mean, someone that has a long-term time horizon, I've been buying stocks like crazy. I'm buying Nvidia 40% off its highs. Absolutely. I'll buy that any day of the week. So there's still reasons to be buying, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's still a very tough macroeconomic environment, but just don't discount the fact that there's still going to be a lot of buyers that could come in, down at these levels for short-term moves, right? You can take advantage of these short-term moves. All right, there's nothing guilty about taking advantage of short-term moves. I think a lot of people, it's almost like you're doing a wrong thing by buying this move, right? I get slammed for buying this move and catching this move on Thursday. I get slammed by the clowns on YouTube when this is actually a fantastic move to trade. Most people, they feel guilty for catching moves to the upside in a downtrending market. You guys can do that, right? If you see something strong, and you can catch it if you start to notice it. There's nothing wrong with trading this move. This is a really decent looking breakout move. You have a breakout of higher highs right here on the ES above 4,400. You can see it's very clear. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that we are making a higher high on the ES right here. You have a previous resistance that broke out on Friday. That is a thing to look out for, right? This is not something to ignore. You got a higher high on the ES since the beginning of March, and you got a very nice little higher high here above 4,400. This is a technical breakout, right? This is the definition of a technical breakout. You broke out of a previous resistance point, a previous technical level. So trade that all day, man. That's beautiful stuff. So nice break, traded it, made a lot of money on Friday because of it. So I'm happy about that. And then, moving forward, I would want to see a retest of. No, I know you're not complaining, Drew. I think you're making some really good. You're making some really good points actually. 4,400. Look at that pullback. That would be a nice little retest level, right? Look at that little retest level. 4,400. So previous resistance. Look at the pullback. Very nice potential hold there. That would be, a break and retest that I would want to be looking out for. Right there at 4,400. That's the same as the 13.8 level on the NASDAQ. 13.8 on the NASDAQ. The big level for me would be the same thing for me for 4,400 on the ES. I want to see 4,400 hold on the ES. That is going to be big right there. So let's watch that today. 44 on the ES. Let's see if that holds. That's going to be a must hold because that is a previous high. And that could be a previous high turning into support, which would be very nice. 200 SMA looks like a lot of resistance, guys, so be careful there. Okay, YM definitely made a higher high as well. You guys can see that right here. You have a previous rejection high, and you broke above it. Now, when you come back down, you're going to want to see 34,000 hold, right? 34,000, that's going to be a big level to watch. We need to see 34,000 hold to make a higher low to start stair-stepping to the upside, right? How do I think this move is going to look, guys? This was what it was. This is what I believe this move could look like because we were getting this, right? We were getting this. We were just continuously moving lower and lower and lower. Now, when you see something like this and you start to sort of slow down on those lower highs and you break above a previous pivot high, which is what we're doing right now. This is what we're doing right now. This could very well turn into something like this, where you start to make higher lows and you start to come down, right, to previous retest levels. That doesn't mean we're going to go straight up like this, right? This could just be a little gradual tradable bounce that you could take advantage of. Now, the moment that you see this get invalidated, right? This is sort of what a chart looks like. Let's say there's an uptrend going on. The moment you start to see this happen, right? If you start seeing this again, this is when you start to say, okay, this is not working. But this is what we're currently doing. We're breaking above highs, previous pivots. We need to pull back and we need to hold. This right here is the next major thing we need to see. Right here, right? That is a key that's the key as to if this market can continue. If this holds right here. This is this. Can we get this over the next few weeks? That's what I'm looking for. Now, if we start to get this where we break down, then it's very easy to tell, guys, on this market that this is not going to hold. So, to me, this is all very easy to watch and very easy to, see if this actually follows through. You guys can really, you can really just read the charts and decide that. You don't need to have your preconceived notion or, you don't have to have your bias. Just watch these charts because right now you're in the start of that potential break. So let's see what occurs here. It's a very interesting time on the chart, in my opinion. IWM, we are coming into that 2100, huh? So we have talked about this IWM level for quite a while, right? It's been 3 months now that every single day on the live stream, we just say, 2100, see what happens. Well, we're coming up to it, and this is either a really ugly rejection, which it very well could be, or, if we flip above 210, 2100, that could be very interesting here. So we're coming up. Let's be careful. Let's see what happens here. This is a major level. This is not a level that I would be taking trades, guys, because this is a big, very big indecision area, right? If you're taking trades here, let's say you take long trades here, you could get totally crushed. Or if you took short trades here, you could get totally crushed too. So people taking trades up here are taking a very big risk, in my opinion. I would want to see either some lower lows start to build, or get a big breakout, turn it into support, and make a higher high, right? You want to at least wait for some confirmation here, I think. I don't know if I'd be the one jumping in as we approach this very questionable area on the Russell. So 2100, I would just be a watcher of that. I would not be a trader of that. Okay. That's the futures, guys. I hope that makes sense. I hope that little chart of where we are in this potential bounce helps. It's definitely not something that's totally strong, but it's not something to just ignore. It's not something to just sit at your charts and say, oh, it's definitely going back down. I don't care what the charts are doing. This market is weak, and I think it's going lower. Right? That's not how you trade. That's just simply not how you trade. But you see a lot of that. So Tesla. This is why Tesla is moving higher. The reason Tesla is moving higher from yesterday, from Thursday to Friday to today, is because it was clear. We opened above the 20 SMA on Friday, which was very obvious. We talked about it in the live stream. We talked about it in the chat. I'll go ahead and pull up where we talked about it, if I can find it without spending too much time. Where did we push that out? Let's see. I just want to show you guys what it looked like at the time. It makes it a little bit more clear, rather than just showing it to you in hindsight. I'll find it. 1 second, guys. It just looks much more. It gives you a better idea of what it looks like at the time. If I can't find it in the next 2 minutes, I'm not gonna look for it. Yeah, we're gonna look at Nvidia. We're definitely gonna look at Nvidia. All right, I can't find it. Oh yeah, I know where it is. Here it is. Found it. All right, here we go. So this is what it looked like at the time, and this is exactly why I was interested in this play at the time. So I just wanted to show you this because this is much more interesting, rather than showing you in hindsight. So this was on Thursday, right? This was Thursday of last week, and this is when I took my swing trade on Tesla. In the chat, I took a Tesla March 25th 950 call for 505. Yeah, Tony, I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with your thought process there and your just logical mindset there. We got a 40, 50, 60, 70% pullback in the market. How is it so hard to be a buyer at these levels, right? I totally agree. Tesla, see this push over the 20, guys, that happened on Thursday? When I saw this, I was buying Tesla. I don't care, right? I don't care what's going on with the market. This is a big breakout. And this is a Tesla stock, right? Remember, this is Tesla. And Tesla has big breakouts and big momentum moves. If you see a candle like this above a 20, look at what the 20 has been doing for almost 2 months. Every single time it touched the 20, it got really ugly rejected. Now, look at what happened on Thursday of last week. This was the telltale sign for me to go long Tesla. And it was the telltale sign for me to go long a lot of other names on Thursday as well. I saw this, I trusted it, because that is a big move. Big move right above the 20. And that's just, that's just a matter of looking at the charts and reading what the charts are telling you, right? If you have an unbiased mind as you see that chart, you are someone that says, hey, that's opportunity. And I'm not going to ignore it because that is very big of a breakout. You guys can see here on Tesla on the daily chart, look at the follow through that followed the next day. And look at the volume that came in the next day as well. Very large volume. This was a very nice short-term breakout on the daily chart. You can see it right here. You had a downtrend on the 20 SMA. You got above it on Thursday, and the continuation seems to be there. Now, where do I think this could go? I think if you get a strong market, you could definitely come up to this 945, 950, right up in here. I would be very careful as you approach this 945, 950. That could be where we reject a little bit, right up into this 950 area. So my next price target on Tesla, if I'm still looking at it, would be 945s, 950s, right in that range. That is where I would be watching on this chart. Okay. So that's Tesla. Very clear, little daily chart breakout there on Tesla on the daily chart. Let's watch this 50 where we're trading at right now, and then let's watch this 950 up here. If we get more upside, I'd be looking at this 950 level. That looks like a really, really major level there. So that's Tesla, guys. That's what I'd be watching. Pretty easy, pretty easy daily chart breakout. If you just read the charts, the technicals, that was really clean. Yeah, difference between, so simple moving average is basically a moving average. The EMA is sort of a shorter term. It's an exponential moving average, so it moves exponentially with shorter term moves. So EMA is better on short term charts. SMA is better on longer term charts. That's the easiest way for me to explain it to you. But just type it in, Google it. It's all over the place, guys. Investopedia. If you guys don't know something about the stock market, please open your mind up to Investopedia. Investopedia is where I've learned thousands of things. It's a very good resource online. So Nvidia, guys, I can't say much more about this. This is an absolutely gorgeous daily chart breakout. Took this trade back on the 17th. As you guys know, this is my trade that I'm in right now. This is up $1,000. This is up 100% right now. So got an Nvidia. And why did I get an Nvidia? Because look at this daily chart that's starting to break out. Look at the hourly chart that's getting above 245. And look at the target of 270, right? I put all of this in the chat. So if you guys have any interest, this is sort of how I break it down. Show you the chart, show you my trades. As of right now, Nvidia right here is up 100%, $972. Now, why did I get into that? Because I read the charts and I did not trade with the bias. And I read the charts here because you can clearly see, which I've been sort of eyeing for a very long time here. Look at this downtrend on Nvidia and look at the breakout that's occurring right now. Can this continue? I absolutely think it can. There's definitely going to be momentum on the back half of this push here. This is a monster green candle on Nvidia with very large volume compared to the rest of the last 2 weeks. Since March, guys, this is the largest volume day since March. Very, very big volume day on Friday for Nvidia. What would I be watching next? I'd be watching right up here around this 270. 270 looks a little tough. That's that 100 SMA and previous supply. So if I go to the 4-hour chart, you can see it very clear. Right in this area, guys, right around 270s is where I'd be a little bit concerned. You're sort of right there this morning, but this is definitely a supply level that I'd be cautious of. So that's why I had my target here. You guys can see in the Discord, target 270. You can see that. Why did I have my target at 270, which we basically hit already? I got in here looking for this move, and look at what happened, right? It's pretty nice stuff there. So right there, there's my target, and there's what happened. So really nice move there on Nvidia. I would be looking to see if you can break the 270. It's possible if you get a strong market, but this is definitely an area where I would be considering taking some profits if we start to reject this 270. This is a big level. So watch that 270 on Nvidia today, guys, but you just simply can't ignore this gorgeous daily chart breakout that could absolutely present some pretty large opportunity here, right there. So would I be a buyer of Nvidia shares? I've been a buyer of Nvidia shares every single week for the last 2 years. So 37% down, 40% down at some points is just, in my opinion, it's just screaming opportunity. 40% down on a stock like Nvidia is just awesome. And I would be a buyer of this any day of the week. For the long term, of course. AMD. AMD is similar, but it's not showing the strength that I would have liked, right? And this is what I don't like about AMD, because you guys see this chart is pretty much identical to Nvidia. Look at how identical this chart is. It's almost identical, but besides the push, right? We didn't quite get the push. We didn't quite get the push. You see this? See how Nvidia got that push? AMD didn't see that. So I'm a little concerned to that today. If I start to see AMD do the same thing as to where we get that push that Nvidia did, I'll be definitely looking to play this as well, right? I'll be looking to play this as well if it gets the same push that Nvidia got, because the chart leading up to Friday is the same exact thing. Look, same exact thing. See this chart? And then look at this chart. Same shit. So nice stuff, but it didn't get the push, and that's what's concerning me. So on AMD, guys, I would be looking to see if this is starting to set up a similar push like Nvidia. If you start to get maybe above the 50, you can see right here, here's the 50. I would maybe look to see if we can get above maybe the 120 area, and then maybe you get that daily chart breakout. So watch out for that. It's sort of approaching, but it's not quite there. It's not quite there, which is a little bit concerning to me. All right, oil. Really nice little retest on oil. You guys can see back to 94. Got the big, ridiculous push. Came right back to where it started, which is basically, you know, what it should have done. You can see oil pushed up, made a stupid move, came right back to where it started, and now it's holding up a little bit. However, you know, I don't like looking at technicals too much on oil prices, guys, because this is a very macro type of move. So do technicals really mean anything here? Maybe, maybe not. I would just be watching some of this previous resistance, because if we go to the daily chart, you can sort of see this is the next sort of stair-stepping level here. I would look at around this 109, 110 and see if it breaks through. If that starts to get a breakout, oil could definitely continue here. So let's just make sure we monitor this. It's more of a monitor trade than anything for me. I just want to see what oil's doing, what energy's doing. It's definitely holding up here a little bit right now, but let's see, do we build a lower high? That's sort of what I'm focused on. XLE, we talked about this really nice break and retest. I think you guys all should remember that. Previous support or previous resistance turns into beautiful support on the XLE. This is a definition of a break and retest and support, right? So, you know, it's there. The push is there. Does it actually come back to previous highs? That's another question that I can't answer. But, you know, XLE is up slightly this morning. Let's make sure we focus on what energy does today. All right. BABA. So I traded BABA up into this 110. Very nice. But it got rejected. And it got rejected pretty hard here this morning. So I don't know if this is because of the China BA news. It probably is. But you guys can see we got the push. And we got to push right into 110. Which is where the rejection was very clear, right? So where does that look like? I want to see if I can show. Yeah, here we go. Here it is before. This is where I post the charts every single day. So BABA, I believe we should see test of 110. Not sure this week or next week. Tough resistance at 110, right? There's got to be a level you got to be very careful around. Because look, this is what it looked like at the time. You guys can see support, support, support. That 110 level was big. That was a big level. And it sort of just did exactly what we expected off that 110. So 110, you guys can see we got the push into it. We actually slightly got above it on Friday. You can see right here. But very quickly got rejected. And now we're gapped down just a little bit here. So can BABA get through this level? That is something I would be very cautious of. If we start to see Chinese markets, you know, slip because of this news even more today, BABA could be a very good short off 110. It very well could be. If we reject this, you guys can see support, 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 previous support into resistance here at 110. This could be one to watch if the Chinese market starts to slip again. Facebook. So, you know, I want to make it very clear here. I am very cautious of this move and definitely not someone that would be putting any type of big money into this, which actually may end up being the right thing because this could be a huge comeback. Honestly, it very well could be if things get very bullish on this market for some reason. However, I just want to sort of show you what's going on right now, right? Because this is a previous high right here around 213, 212, and we broke above it. This is what I talk about when we do this, right? When we do something like this. What is this currently doing? This is breaking above a previous high. This is what this is doing right here. See? See this previous high? Pivot high right here. What is it doing right now? It's breaking above it. that means that we could see some bullishness because you are breaking above a previous resistance point. Now, what's the key for Facebook? You need to hold that previous high. You need to turn this into support. This is really, I mean, if you use the body of the candle, it's right around 211, 210. If you use the wick, it's up to 213. But now what you want to see is a retest of that level and a hold, right here on Facebook at 211, 212. So I just wanted to show you this. This is an interesting chart. You're starting to get a technical breakout here. Can you move up into this 250? It's possible. It's definitely possible to make a little U formation up to this 250. This is where that gap started. Look at this gap on the Facebook daily chart. If this market gets strong, right? If, let's say, in like a year or maybe 6 months, or whenever the market comes back to some type of normalcy, when it does, Facebook will be an absolute monster in this gap. If we ever get back into this gap, this will be a monster of an upside play. Now, I don't know if that ever happens. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know when. I don't know if. But if it does, this gap is something that could be some huge opportunity in our future. Square. Why do I bring up Square? Because I think this is a stock that you should watch today. This is a huge, huge breakout. This goes from falling knife to consolidation to making a higher high, right? This is the 3 stages of a potential reversal, right? So falling knife, sort of consolidation, and now breaking out of a previous resistance level. To me, this is something that I think can continue. If I'm just looking at technicals, previous resistance. We didn't reject this time. We got through it. And we got through it with some power, with some pretty decent volume as well. Volume on Square, in general, has been increasing this entire period. Look at this entire period where the consolidation has been. What does that mean? That means people are accumulating shares here, guys. Look at the increase in volume since around January 14th. We've been accumulating sideways, and volumes have been really increasing. Look at the average volume here compared to this. I would say the average around this time is probably right around here. The average of this time on Square is probably maybe around something like this, right? So look at the increase in the general average of this volume since we have consolidated, since around 1st of January, or the beginning of this year. Now, that is something that you have to pay attention to. It's just not something you can ignore here, right? Big accumulation in volume, sideways price action, and we got to break above 130. It's very interesting, and it's something that I would absolutely be watching here. Square could absolutely present opportunity to the upside. Maybe up to the 100, maybe it rejects around the 170s. I don't know where it's going to reject, but what I would tell you is to at least keep this chart on your watch. Maybe a retest of 130 could be a great break and retest opportunity. Either way, it is very clear, guys. The volume is clearly increasing. The consolidation has been here. The support seems to be in, and this could be a very nice push that I would be watching. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. All right, Boeing down this morning because of some unfortunate and very sad news about China and Boeing. Boeing plane crashed and killed 130 people. Really sad. I don't know how long of a, this is unfortunately, it's going to go into an investigation. Is it Boeing's fault? Is it not Boeing's fault? Is it pilot error? Who knows what it is? I don't know what it is. If it's not Boeing's fault, you may see this stock return, right? If it's not the plane's fault and it's something external, then you will see this stock probably come back. This is just going to be a tough stock to trade today, guys, so I would just be careful. Boeing did drop off of it. Maybe there's some opportunity off the back of half of this move. But just be careful on that. Just wanted to share that with you. I think that is why you're seeing gap downs on, I think it's almost every Chinese name. And NEO came all the way back. Look at that. NEO came all the way back. XPEV starting to come back. BIDU didn't quite. Still gap down on BIDU. JD still gap down. And BABA still gap down. So you got gap downs on the Chinese names. I think it's because of that news. And then you got Boeing on the gap down as well. We'll have to see what happens here. Is it Boeing's plane's fault? Is it driver error? If it's Boeing's fault and there's something wrong with the plane, then this is going to probably continue to the downside. But that is something we'll just have to wait on. All right, guys. We got 5 more minutes. I'm going to go over what you guys want to look at. If you guys could be so kind and just take a second to press the like button right now, take 1 second, press the like button, stop what you're doing, help support the channel. Press the like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you haven't seen the streams before, we do this every single day at 8 a.m., starting at 8 a.m. every market day. So help me out by doing that. That would be great. I would very much appreciate that, guys. So let's go ahead and do what the members want to look at, and that is starting with Home Depot. Home Depot. So on the daily chart, Home Depot is coming up into a big resistance level. Just watch out for this. 341, big resistance here on HD. I would just watch out for this level right here. This is where we gap down on earnings. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Watch this 340, 341. That's a little bit interesting up here. That's what I'd be watching on HD. If you're looking for upside, watch out for this gap fill, which is around 343, and then previous resistance around the same level. We did Facebook, we did BABA, BIDU, guys. It's all the same. All these Chinese names are the same. Gap down this morning. I would just see, what happens. I would just look for support around this 135 on BIDU. But yeah, all the Chinese names, I'm not going to spend too much time on. They're all just gapping down this morning. We're just going to have to see what the reaction to that gap down is. That's really all I'd wait for. Tomorrow we would get a little bit more insight in that. CRM. This is sort of looking like my other charts, like Square and Facebook, right? Look at that. You can start to see a higher high getting built, right? This is happening on a lot of stocks. So this is when you have to really zone in and take a look at what's going on in the actual charts, guys. Because, if you don't look at the charts on a daily basis, right? This is when people miss opportunity. Because there's a lot of people out there that really can't look at charts on a daily basis, right? A lot of people that, they read the headlines. They think, the market's continuing going in the same direction the headlines are showing, and they just sort of ignore what's going on the actual charts. Those are the types of people that miss out on opportunity on a reversal, right? You're starting to see signs of strength here, and you have to pay attention to it. Whether you take trades or not, whether you trust it or not, you have to make sure you pay attention to what's going on right now, because there are a lot of stocks that are showing signs of reversals. I don't know if it holds, but it's something we have to at least be awake for and be apparent and know that's happening. So CRM, big break here above a previous resistance. That's a higher high, right? Does this hold? We have to see some higher lows come in, right? Maybe a higher low here. Maybe we come back to this trend line and make a higher low, and we sort of continue on this run. But this is, definitely something to watch here. You guys can see CRM breaking out above this 214, making a higher high. Still a lot of resistance above, right? You can clearly see still a lot of resistance. I mean, 226, 230s, 240s, 250s, a lot of resistance above, but it's definitely moving in the right direction. I would at least keep an eye on it eye on it here around this 220 area. All right, Square we did. Snap. See, this is a stock that's not doing, right? This is not, if we were seeing this on everything, I would still be in the same, wheelhouse. This is not making a higher high, right? You can clearly see. This is very far away from, being anything I like. I would need to see Snap above this level, right? This is where I need to see Snap above. So, still very far away from trusting Snap. There's some stocks that are doing it and some stocks that are clearly not. I would want to see Snap above 42 before getting interested. Okay. Sorry, Crypto Chronics. We're not interested in your ape. Dow Inc. So I know it's the same person who looks at this. I forgot who is it that likes this Dow. You're getting a push. You just got a lot of resistance up here, and it's just a really tough one to, find really big moves here. But yeah, just watch out for this 63, 64. This stock to me just does not move enough to really have interest in. But I'm sure there's a strategy that you like on this name. These candles are just so volatile, up and down, up and down, up and down. Snap downside. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I would look for downside if you reject 42. I would look for downside if you push into 42 and reject here. That's what I'd look for. That would be a very nice rejection. Push higher, reject at previous resistance, push back to the downside. JOBY. Dow downside. I mean, yeah, maybe. Maybe off this area right here. A little double top. I just don't really know how to read this stock, honestly. It's just really, really volatile. And like the candles are just so sporadic. There's not any type of fluid movement here. It's very hard. JOBY. What is this? Jobby Aviation. You have it to the upside. I would just be careful of this previous support turning into resistance. Look at this right here. Very clear. 619, 620. Previous support into resistance, all at the exact same level, guys. So that's a major level. I'd be very careful trading it into 620. That could be very well where it rejects there. 620, support, rejection, and possibly the exact same thing once again. So watch out for 620 on JOBY. Upstart. I like Upstart long term. As you guys know, I'm starting to add a share position here. Every single week I buy more of it. I like Upstart, maybe back up to 160s where I think it probably finds resistance again. But I can see, the case for if this market finds strength. You could see Upstart back towards 160, right up in here. You can see double bottom support around 85. You probably have some room into the 160s. That's what I'd be watching. On the 4-hour charts, you guys can see I was sort of watching this 125, 120 area. That's sort of what I was monitoring, and we did get above that. That's right up in here. You guys can see, if I can make this a little bit more clear. On the hourly, there we go. Hourly chart's a little bit more clear. So here on the hourly chart, you guys can see previous resistance around this 120. Well, we did get above it on Friday, and I like that a lot. You can see this little breakout here that happened on Friday. So on Upstart, I want to see 120 hold, and I want to see it continue to hold 120. But even on the daily chart, you guys can see very nice support around that 85, little double bottom potentially. I just want to see it hold above 120, and maybe you have room up to that 160. All right, last two, JP Morgan. This is more of just a watch of financials type of thing. That's what I'd be That's what I'd be looking at. I'd be looking for just, financials as a whole. It's going to be hard for me to help you with banks, guys. The banks have been so crazy. Yeah, sure. If you want to see if you guys want to start a long-term portfolio, I don't think there's a better time, to be quite honest. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to start buying stocks when they're back at all-time highs, maybe in a few years. I don't know when that happens, but that's usually when people start to buy their shares. When everyone's feeling, everyone's got daisies out and butterflies are flying around. And, now I'll buy stocks when they're back at all-time highs, right? That's usually when people start buying. That's not when I buy, right? I'm buying now. I'm buying when everyone's panicking. And I think that pays off very well. So here's my long-term in M1. I have another IRA, which is a little bit larger, and I just buy I just buy the QQQ and the SPY, guys. That's all I have. Oh, and Apple. In my other IRA, my SEP IRA, I buy three things. QQQ, SPY, and Apple. That's it. And that's all I need, because I don't try to outperform the market. I'm just trying to gain market gains, right? In this portfolio, it's very much more aggressive. As you guys can see, I've dollar cost averaged into this every single day. Every single week. You can see every week I either get a referral bonus, which thank you guys. If you sign up using my link, I get $50 and you get $50 as well. So it's a win-win. But I buy every single week. You can see March 7th, bought $500. March 3rd, bought actually $1,000 there. February 28th, bought $640, right? This goes on every week. $500, $300, right? $1,000 on the 16th, $1,000 on the 9th. So every single week I'm buying. I don't care what happens in this market because I'm dollar cost averaging into this market. Over the last month, month to date, I am now green. I'm now up 5% month to date. How am I up 5% month to date in a market that's going down? It's because I'm dollar cost averaging, and now I am 5% green. I'm up $747 in the month of March. Yes, I'm still down year to date. I'm down about $1,200 year to date. That doesn't mean anything to me. If I continue to dollar cost into this market, continue to buy stocks that are just solid names, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, AbbVie, Google, Microsoft, AMD, Pepsi, Chevron, Procter & Gamble, Cisco, Coca-Cola, Altria for dividends, Caterpillar, Home Depot, Netflix, Lulu, and Upstart. As you guys can see on the right side, here's the percentage. That's the average of my holdings. You can see these are very small holdings for me. 2%, 2%, 2%. These are my more speculative names that I'm a little bit less confident on. Now up here, you can see 13% Nvidia, 11% Tesla, 11% Apple, 11% AbbVie, 10% Microsoft, Google. These are the names that I like more, right? And you can see I like Nvidia quite a bit. So, yeah, man, this is M1, and you can see this is, since I started it, this is my equity curve, which just continues to go higher, probably off the back of me supporting it. But that is what I want to do, right? This is it. So, if you guys want to sign up, you can use this link right here. You get $50, and I get $50 as well. All right, guys. XLF, look for banks. That's for JP Morgan. PayPal, real quick before we head out. This looks just like Square. It looks just like Square. Look at this. Previous support, previous resistance, broke out of it. Very clear, guys. Just like Square here. It's very clear. And I would be looking at it the same way I'm looking at Square. All right, guys. That's all. Live stream. It's 9 o'clock. We got to get out to the Discord chat. So if you guys want to come hang out in the chat, make sure to hang out. You can check it out, or make sure to check it out down in the link below. If you'd like, we trade there every day. We talk about charts every day. We're definitely talking about this, what's going on in the market, on a very consistent basis. So if you want to check it out, feel free. If not, just come hang out in the live streams. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel. And thank you guys for being here. Let's get to 500 likes if we could before I head out. That would be great. All right, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.